Hey, it's Eric. I'm making a game. The game is called The Godkiller. It's called. I kind of run that together because I've said it so many times. The game is called The Godkiller. It's not Godkiller. The Godkiller. There's another piece of fiction called Godkiller, or it's actually like a graphic novel series. I think I'll be The Godkiller. Kind of like having the in front of it. It's sort of, instead of putting God Killer right in your face, it takes it back a little bit. You say, the God Killer. Kind of like the difference between Godfather and the Godfather. You know, it allows itself to be considered at a distance instead of being right in your face. Yeah, I'm a pretentious guy. All right. So let me demo what I got done last night. And I'm happy I got it done last night because it only took me 4 hours and it's a pretty significant change to the game. I'm just having a lot of good development luck this last week. I got mid-game or mid-level save in, which is architecturally ambitious, and it worked. And then I thought at the beginning of yesterday's session, how do I want to solve the problem of showing when the player dies? Because it was really confusing before. You could just not really see what the hell is going on. So let's see. Let's go Victory Tiers and show the new behavior. Which, if you hadn't seen the old behavior, and I don't feel like reverting to show it, it might not be very clear why it's important. But so, okay, but I'll just explain the old behavior. Now, there's this thing here that'll kill me as soon as I try to fling across it. Flinging, by the way, if you're a new player, it's this activity where you just move as far as you can in one issued command. So if I try to fling across this gap here, these pop-up spikes are going to kill me. Now, the old thing that used to happen is you would sort of be instantly dead and instantly transported back to the level start point. It's not quite accurate. It's your birth point. It's your egg. It's where you're born. But it's not necessarily going to be at the level start anyways. Yeah, so it would instantly put you back there. And there'd be some animation and stuff, but you wouldn't see how it was that you died. You'd have to deductively figure it out, or just know that, like, okay, this is going to kill me. That's probably what did it. Okay. Now it will leave you on the square where you died. And then on the next turn after you hit a key, the next step, it'll return you to the egg. So I'm going to look at that just a little bit more. Yeah. So makes it easier to see what's going on. I'm kind of looking at the pop-up spikes and noticing that with the death icon there, you can't really see the effect, which I worked hard on. I think is cool. The spikes like popping way up and looking terrifying. Well, terrifying's maybe a bit presumptuous, but yeah. Okay. I'm immediately going back into playtesting mode, which isn't making a good demo. Anyways, there's now 1 turn delay every time you die. And it's not a change that I would recommend making late in development, because it touched a lot of code that was working just fine and kind of reopened it to have new bugs in it. So I wasn't smart in waiting this long to put it in, but apparently it's working out. I think, if I'm honest, it's not necessarily just good luck. There's luck involved, but I did do a good job of making my code maintainable. Yeah, I did just fine with that. And that's why I was able, at this late stage of development, to put in features like a mid-level save. So if I come out, exit the game entirely. It used to be you'd start from the very beginning, but let's go to the boot scene, because that'll do the continue behavior. Fright Law, hey! This time, I'm not going to leave the stream right when you come on. I'll stick around for a bit. Some hours. I'm just starting, so you got good timing. Alright, so I think it might not have saved that game because I went into the scene from a different place other than boot. I'm not sure. I'm going to try it. Anyways, and this is actually the first time I tested. It worked perfect. Good. Okay, so the mid level save is working fine with the changes I made to the death stuff, and I was a little worried about that. But yeah, when I came back, it put me in exactly the same spot midway through the level. So that's good. That's good. That was one of the things I was going to test this morning, and it's working fine. All right. So what do I want to do next? I think I want to make just a few more refinements to this death thing. So there is one bug I know about, which is if a creature pushes you and then you die, these prediction squares on the death turn, they don't really seem to make sense. I'm also noticing that it's a little hard to see some things that might have happened on the square with this particular configuration. I think I'm relying too much on the normal prediction guides to also serve as a marker of where you died. So these are the prediction guides here. They say what's going to happen if you happen to move in one of these directions. So if I let me see if I can find any place where I could walk onto. Oh, I know where it is. Here, over here. So if I go here, it says if you move north, you're going to die. That's basically what it's saying. But then I'll go ahead and die. And there was an animation right here where the spikes popped way up. That would have been nice to see. But on this follow-up turn, let's call it the death. Let's call it not the turn. The death step. I'll call it call it the death step. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to read this thing. 2 months ago, I started learning Java when my skills in Java will be fairly good. I know I must do a couple self-medium projects. What language should I start to think, except Kotlin, of course? What main language is priority for Microsoft? Okay, I'm going to try to answer this question well, but I want to know, let's see. You are a new programmer, and you're trying to learn programming, and is it for any purposes? Like, do you want to make games? Do you want to make websites? You want to make money, get a job as a programmer? Or even all that stuff you don't care, you're just learning, you want to learn. It seems like your goals are important. So my question to you, why do you want to learn programming? Switching kind of back to this, but Frightlaw is probably typing something. But back to this for a little bit. I think I do want some kind of death marker, but not to use the same one. Okay. So maybe you want to do more interesting work than what you're doing now. And if you had better skills, it would be like you could spend more time working on things that were interesting to you. If you have programming skills. I think I started programming for similar reasons. I had a job where I was supposed to call a bunch of people and enter the information into these paper forms, and then the paper forms would be put into a spreadsheet. And then I said, what if I'll make a database? I'll make the form be the first thing you put it into, and that will go right into the database, and it'll be better. And I wrote some code, and it was more interesting work for me. I think the company that hired me was happy enough, but it was probably a very bad database. Anyways, who cares? Yeah, got it. Okay. So thinking about jobs and work, like what languages are most useful. So you can do C# development. C# is a good choice. Java is a good choice. If you want to be like in the Microsoft .NET world, if that is something that seems good to you, yeah, do C#. C# is good stuff. If you think about what type of programming you want to do long term, like you want to write websites or mobile phone apps, stuff like that, there's different language choices you might pick. if you want to get into data processing, machine learning, stuff like that, different languages you might pick. As far as things that are useful inside of a typical office environment, like it's not like you would go and automate things at work using something like C#. It might be possible, but these days, like normal business activities, it's a little bit tough to convince somebody that you'll write an app for it, because there's typically some options available that are off the shelf that do mostly what people need, whether it be accounting or databases, things like that. So if you wanted to just be very quickly valuable at work, you might look into types of programming that aren't that useful. That are not that difficult or even fun, but they're lucrative. So you can do things quickly with them. So you could say Microsoft Office, Access, like the database Access. Let's see. If there's some kind of software like a content management system at work, like a wiki, Confluence, Microsoft Teams, stuff like that, then you can make cases to people at work. Say, okay, you have this software. Say they've got Microsoft Teams. Then you might say, you know what, I can set up a script that creates a process where this form that people are putting on paper right now, they can enter the form inside of this software. Okay. So stuff like that. So if you wanted to be making money faster, then I'd say look at the needs of the place you're working at and figure out cheap ways, easy ways to do things that will save them money. Then you can make a case to them. You can say, okay, this person here, she's spending 40 hours a week doing this report. Or, half of her time in the week is all on this report. So you say, how much money are they spending on this? I'll tell you what, I can create something that will make this report automatic for you. And it'll take me maybe a week to do it. And then you'll just save money left and right. You'll save so much money. So that's the kind of thing that I did when I was starting out. I would just find these people with problems in business, and I would not think about what smart things I knew, but I would think about what can I do for them that will save them money or make money for them. And then as soon as they saw that it was a good idea to have me do this project for them, I'd have work doing that project. Yeah. C# is okay, but C# is more like you're gonna write some more ambitious software. So you might look at scripting stuff, and I've been outside of the business application world for a while now, but let me see. So what do I mean by scripting stuff? Let's see. Microsoft VB. Let's see. Microsoft scripting. Runtime VBA. Stuff like this. So it's like maybe in your company everyone is using Microsoft Word, for example. And then if you get into VBA or Microsoft scripting, then you can write some quick thing that maybe automatically creates a certain type of document or looks up a piece of information, puts it in the document. So it's not as glamorous of programming. It's not like as deep programming. It's like get your foot in the door type stuff. It's a way to get into writing code for a living, for money, quicker. And then at some point you might say to yourself, okay, I've done this for a few years. I want to do some other types of programming that are more interesting to me, more lucrative. Then you could go for more ambitious things, like C#. But if you really want to kind of focus on getting your skills to a better place instead of making money earlier, then I would say Java was good. C# is good. Web programming is very good too. So like learning React, JavaScript, stuff like that. Here's my whole career right here. So 1990s, business programming, databases, VB script. Okay, this is like the programming that everybody looks down on. They say, oh, you're one of those programmers. Okay, 1995s. Multimedia programming. 2000s. Okay, so this is gonna be like C++. 2000s. Enterprise business. SQL, Java, HTML, CSS, JBoss, these giant back-end stacks. Okay. 2010s. More of this. More enterprise. But along the way, some game stuff, some game programming, which is weird. Okay, 2020s. I'm an engineering manager now. Let's say web sites, but like web applications, let's say. It's different than just a website. Web applications, engineering manager, games as moonlighting. This is React, JS, TypeScript. C++ is hard. The hard part about it is you can make mistakes that are extremely difficult to fix. So yeah. But anyways, that's me. That's what I know. There is a kind of way to get past this type of step, which is okay. You I don't know, kind of a boot camp style. Okay, here's another way to get into software development. Okay, you say, I'm not going to try to do business programming, but I will figure out entry-level skills for one type of programming. Okay, the boot camp could be an official boot camp that you sign into, or it could be self-training. Okay, but you figure out a narrow set of skills, and you make yourself into the entry-level programmer for that skill. So if you say, I want to be a web app developer, go look at job listings, and you'll see, like, for web app developers or engineers, they keep on asking for the same set of things, and you pick like one set, So like you could say, for example, React, JS, TypeScript. You just learn this stuff. You learn it inside and out. Don't look at anything else. Do this for 6 months. Make sure you can write a web app. And be good at job interviews. And you just apply. And you keep going to job interviews. And you probably get way less callbacks than other people because your resume looks like it doesn't have much in it. But it's possible. As soon as you get like one job, then you're in. It's okay, you know. But it's hard. It's hard. So you have to be very focused. So like you pick 1, 2, 3 things that you're going to learn. That's it. Nothing else. You know, maybe one day it's fun to write something in Unity, but you say, nah, I don't got time for that. I want to make a good living here. I want to get into the business. You just pick your skill set, you focus on that, you aim for entry level, you get really good at interviews, you'll get a job eventually. Because the world doesn't have enough programmers. That's the truth. It might not be true 5 years from now, but right now the world does not have enough programmers. And it's been that way for a long time. I think it's because there's just only so many brains that are good at programming. And it's not an elitist thing to say, but if you have 1,000 humans, like 1 human in 1,000 is like really, really good at programming. Maybe 1 human in 100 is okay at programming. So yeah, that's my advice. I wish you luck. Definitely. Definitely. Then it gets easy. Or easier, you know. Alright. So I'm thinking what I want is I'll reuse this death thing here. But I'll make a new effect. I won't rely on this predictive square thing to pop over that. I'll just have like the skull and crossbones kind of float up towards you from that square. It'll be more interesting to look at. And I'll have less bugs to figure out related to these guys and if they show or not in different places. Okay, I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to come back. Maybe 5 minutes, something like that. All right. All right. So I think my first step is just to remove the player guide on the death step, and then I'll add back in some kind of effect. All right, I just had a few thoughts. I need to start thinking in terms of making a pass through all my levels and fixing a bunch of small things. So whenever I notice something that I have to check on every level, I'm going to add them down here, because the idea is if I got to go through 56 to 60 levels and fix a bunch of things, I don't want to miss them. I want a checklist. So one is, been noticing this on some levels but not others. Player death particles are present. Okay. Rail LOD fix. So there's some places where the rails are missing a bar on LOD0. Okay. Then if I think of anything else like that, which might apply to multiple levels, I'll just add it to this checklist, and then when I get around to doing my level pass, where I go, let's look at the first level, is everything good? Second level, then I won't miss stuff. I won't have to keep on going back again to fix things. Okay. Let us disable the player guide. Okay. I think let's look at who's calling this. I want to be neat and tidy with this, because there's a bunch of variables I'm looking at. I want them to not get disorganized over time. So let's be a little careful. Let's look at my requirements. During development. disable predictions. I'm putting in both the old stuff that already works and the new stuff that I need to make work. So the solutions I come up with in this little pocket design will not break any of the old behavior, and also I'll come up with maybe new ways to do the old behavior that are easier to think about and maintain in the code. Okay, so during development I can disable predictions. If on the death step no flinging, or I'll just say no guide UI is shown. So I think it's probably going to be this. We have should show fling, should show, let's see, fling guide, should show walk guide. Return false if So this part of encapsulating the logic inside of these functions, I'm sold on. In fact, I don't even think I need to think further on this. I'll just start coding this. I thought maybe there'd be some other options that might be good, but this seems very clear to me. So let's encapsulate. Start out, we'll just say return false. Now I'll look at the places where I would actually do these things. That seems fine. These are just the utility functions that handle different things. So there's no top level logic in these. So I can not do anything with those. Okay. Yeah, here's where it matters. Okay. Okay. This might not be right. Okay, if I can just keep it in the inactive state, that's probably the way to do it. So let's see. Let's say if should show fling guide. We'll pass in is fling guide active, all commands disabled. And do I have a copy of the board? I do. Good. Okay. Then we'll say, let's go ahead and start it. Start that state. And we'll say if we should show the walk guide. Our commands disabled. This might be what I need. Okay, but let me make sure I don't lose the old logic. I want to be a little careful to keep this exactly the same logic as it was for the old functionality. Otherwise, this will get out of hand fast, or there'll be lots of bugs. Let's just, so I can see both things together easily. Let's move this down. Let's also store the player piece. Here, put this here. Okay, so then this I want to pass Is Fling Guide active? Bool R commands disabled. This one I want bool R commands disabled. Okay. So we'll say return not R commands disabled and player piece is alive. Okay, this one we will say not R commands disabled and player piece is alive and is Fling Guide active and not is Fling disabled. Okay, and that means I can delete that. I can delete all this. Thinking about this a little bit. I don't think I want to change this code yet. What's this? Okay. Oh. Okay. That should be fine. It's gonna avoid. Okay, yeah, you're right. Let's see. What's this? Okay, go ahead. Invert it. Do it for me. Do my work for me. Is that better? I don't know about that. Okay. I think I should just be able to. Let's do that. Okay, so this I have to leave alone because possible that this state can change from the UI or from the user's actions after it's already started. So there's like the should you try it to begin with, and then there's after it's already started, after the animations for the guide have started, should you interrupt it. So the Fling Guide could turn on, and then that means you want to hide the walk squares. Okay. This guy's going to say, why don't you invert it? And it's not really going to reduce nesting. Because it'll be, I mean, I guess it will, yeah, it'll reduce nesting sort of. So, but okay, I'll try it. I'll try it. So we say less than equal return. That maybe is a little bit nicer. One other thing, I just want to do it while I still remember it. Has nothing to do with what I was just working on, but I just don't want to forget. There we go. Okay, so this change, it might be pretty clean and be a good way of simplifying all this. Let me give it a shot. Okay, it builds anyways. All right, let's play it. I should probably go to a test level so it loads quicker. Okay, so there's some error in the logic for the fling, whether it should show or not. The fling guide, it's turning off when it shouldn't. The walk guide's there. Let's see what death looks like. Two things I noticed. One is that my change worked. It's not showing the guide while I'm on the death step. But at some point I regressed and I no longer have the cool animation of the spike going up. And I want that to go back in. So let's take note of the bugs so I don't lose track of them. Death. This is fixed now. Well, that's good. So bugs. Lost the fling guide. Let's see. Pop-up spikes. Oops. Already got one. Lost the animation. See if there's anything else. Oh, there was, the animation was there. Hold on, let me look at that again. It might just be because it's going straight up that you can't see it that well. That would make some sense. A straight up viewpoint, it's a little bit hard. Okay, well, let's get the fling guide working. I don't think this is a bug. I think just from some viewpoints it's hard to see it. If we get on a different level where it's more easily seeable, then it'll be fine. But let's go to a test level, because then I can restart a lot faster. Test stairs. So why am I losing the fling guide? Show the fling guide if commands are disabled. Are not disabled. The player is alive. The fling guide is active, and fling is not disabled. If all those things are true, then show it. So one of these things is not true. Did I pass this in the right order? Yep. All right, let's debug. I was gonna call this again though. Yeah, this is like this code will get called so many times. Also, since it's going to get called so many times, I want to put the criteria that is going to be false the most often, or this one is going to decide on the state much more often than anything else. If fling guide is not active, then we just don't do anything, okay? And we don't have to evaluate the rest of these. Which is the next one, most likely? Commands being disabled. Yeah, this is the right order. Okay. So maybe... what's the best way to do this? Just to start, I'll if not is funny guy to active, return false. Otherwise return this thing, which is redundant, but I'm going to delete this line up here after a bit, because I need to have the breakpoint come here, not every single frame, but only after you're pressing on the shift key. And I do not know why this is not letting me set a breakpoint there. Oh, I love weather like I have right now. It's just a cold, clear day. Love it. See the sun, I see blue sky. It's cold outside, but it's warm inside. Makes me feel cozy, you know? It's like I walk through my house and the temperature changes quite a bit from one room to the next, so it's almost like living in a spa where there's some rooms for hot and some rooms for cold. I like that too. There's kind of a smugness to it, which is like, oh, I'm managing the energy of my house in some way that makes sense. I'm not heating every single room, but there's also a little bit like you feel kind of tough, you know? It's like, who cares? This room's cold. I can deal with it. That feels good. Then just the variety, like instead of your house feeling like it's one place, it feels like it's a collection of places. And I enjoy that too. And this house I live in, it's the first house I bought. It's got that feel to it more than any other house because it's a tower. It's got 4 stories to it, but it's skinny. So each story's got just like a small amount of space on it. It's what's called a townhouse. Pretty conventional kind of building. It's not that special. But when you go up a floor or down a floor, it feels like you've traveled to a different place. Especially how we have it laid out in our house. You know, there's the lowest floor is sort of my wife's territory. The top floor is kind of mine. Technically, she can come up here and do stuff too, but put things here. But she doesn't do much of that. And the middle floor is the shared space. So when we go off to work at our day jobs, we don't see each other most of the day, even though we're in the same house. You know, with lockdown and everything, everyone's working from home if they can. I'm glad we can. But then at the end of our work days, we meet in the middle. It's real nice. It's one of the best places you could have for this COVID lockdown stuff, you know? So I feel lucky about that. I like my house. So something's wrong with this fling guide logic, and I don't know what yet. Let's take a look. It seems like that's working now with the debug point. Let's set the debugger. Okay, there it came back on. Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but I assume it's gonna stop on that breakpoint. And why should this level take this long to start? At some point I should profile it, but you know, when the player builds, it's very fast in the player build, so maybe I won't worry about it. Okay, so shift. Okay, now it got down to here. So is the fling guide active? It is. Are commands disabled? No, they're not. Is the player piece alive? It is. Is fling disabled? I say it's not. False. Yeah. So this is true and true and true and true. It's going to return true. Okay, so what that means is probably, oh shit, it's like this. Okay, it's going to come down here. It's going to change the state again to walk guide active. That's the issue. Got it. Got it. Got it. So this should be, yeah, just do a return right here. That'll do it. That'll do it. So fling guide overrides the walk guide. You can't have both on at the same time. This, I think I can just put back to how I had it. I think there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm guessing I got 97% confidence that this will work first try. Technically the second try. Oh shit. I hate it when I build while it's still in play mode. You can't trust anything to work after that point. It's more a miracle when anything continues to work after you built in the middle of play mode. There we go. Now I'm thinking about, now that I've disabled the stuff that I don't want to show, then the question is, what do you want to show? Because it doesn't have to be anything that previously was showing. It could be something new. What would be the best thing to show while you're on this little death thing? Okay. not mind showing a walk square at the place where you're going to be reborn at. I want to see if the spike effect can still be shown in other situations like I was thinking it would before. I think the camera angle was just bad to see it before, but I want to check it out. Could make it elongate a little bit further. Okay, what makes sense to do here? Okay, ideas. I gotta start making some ideas. Yeah, this is fixed. What to show on death step? Ideas. Brainstorming. Walk square where you will be reborn. Death marker on last square. Rising death marker, like it floats up. Replay of death with a tinted screen. I'm just trying to not rejecting any ideas yet, but just think of ideas. Icon showing cause of death. Side icon over square showing cause of death. Side illustration showing cause, or it could be an icon. Showing cause of death with line to square. Camera duck down closer on square temporarily. I kind of like that one. Rotate camera slightly. Yeah. So of all those things I listed, the one that I know for sure I want is showing where you're going to respawn next with a walk square. So these things around the character, the player character, are walk squares. And if I die here, I would like a walk square to show around where I'm going to be respawning next. I know I want that one. So let's start with that. I'll make that first. It'll give me some time to be thinking about other parts I want. Okay. Going to take a look at the code for showing a walk square. So if I say show walk squares and death markers, I think I can just make a public method of the player guide. Boy, this might be a little tough though. All right. Gotta think about this. Pocket design. On death step, one walk square will show at rebirth point. Okay, how to do this? Show rebirth square. We'll pass in player piece and here RH. Okay, so inside of here, I'm going to be use transform to get geo and find the player guide. Okay, then player guide, new public method, show rebirth square. here's the thing. It's pretty easy for me to set the square kind of immediately, but it won't have that nice scale up animation unless I do something state management style for that. How to handle that? So I can create like a new set of criteria for showing a rebirth square and treat it separately from showing the walk squares. So new state for showing rebirth square that is separate from walk square. It will reuse some of the util functions for updating square. That's pretty clean. All right, I gotta go get rid of some coffee because I've been drinking huge amounts of coffee today. This seems pretty good. I don't know if I can improve upon this with any other ideas. I mean, okay, but let's just think about it a little bit further. Sometimes I get a much better idea in the second. Suppose that I don't have this show rebirth square thing. Show rebirth square effect. It's an effect. Okay. Okay, let's say that in player guide explicit update should show rebirth square. It's going to be player piece is alive. It's going to be false. So if that's true, then we use prediction to learn where player goes when walking north. All directions will be the same. And then this might be the better way, actually. They don't have to create this effect here and have glue between the logic and the player guide. Also, the prediction is the most reliable way to learn where the player is going to be, because it actually performs the command of being reborn in advance, and it sees what the game logic would, where it would put the player at. So if I make any further changes to the game logic, I don't have to go back and figure out new code for predicting where the rebirth CRH is. It's just built into the game logic updates. Okay, and it's going to be basically only use north direction. All right, I'm glad I thought about this more. This is better. Okay, so I got it. I'm gonna do it. So here we'll say, let's see, thinking about always trying to put these in the order that they're most likely to be used. Although in this case, since fling overrides walking, and both of these could return true, I want to check for the flinging first. Okay. Then we'll say return here. Rebirth guide. Let's add the state up above. It's weird that this one shows up as blue. I don't think it's actually used. We'll see. All right, then just down underneath, I'm going to copy the pattern. Let's take these two, copy and paste them. This is not going to be true. Because if your rebirth guide is showing flinging, it's not possible and it can't override it. Don't need that. Let's just call it. Okay. Okay. Then I got to take this and I'm basically going to make a copy of this function and make it so that it is implemented just for the one walk square. This one right here. There's more than one function that's using prediction analysis now, so I'll move it up top. I have this convention of putting variables that are only used by one method right next to the method, but now it's used by multiple, so it belongs at the top. I think it was already being used by multiple, to be honest. Okay, so this is going to be a new function name. It's going to be called show rebirth walk square. was my thinking there? Maybe refactor into a new show square. I guess. I think I'm going to disagree with myself. There's just 2 lines of code here. No big deal. Yeah, it should get a lot simpler. Don't need to do anything with the depth marker. Maybe hide the depth markers. I don't know if I need to. We'll see. Okay, so then there's another one for updating. Update rebirth walk score scale. Okay, update walk guide scale. Rebirth walk square scale. Cool. I may just say I don't think I have a fade in duration for the rebirth square. So let's just start a constant. I only need to do the north one. Gonna make this a constant. Call this bam, like so. Move both of those guys up. Okay. Okay, let's name this reuse analysis. It's a clue to me that multiple functions are operating on it. Where is walk visible delay used? That makes me think I'm using the wrong constant on yeah, I am. Rebirth visible delay. Okay, that's why it was not showing up above. Okay. And we'll set this. I like the idea of letting it fade in slower. Let's just try it. Give it a full second. Okay. Reuse analysis. It's a convention I have because there's a bunch of places where I do not want to allocate a new instance of a object just for performance reasons. Inside of Unity, you don't want to keep on allocating things, but it really would be better if it was uniquely created each time, but it's just bad for performance to do that. So if I just put reuse in front of it, that gives me a clue. This is going to be used multiple times, the same instance, maybe by different code. Let's make sure we're not screwing anything up because of that. Yeah, I go along with that. It's a good way to introduce bugs. Fiddling around with warnings that are just stylistic. It's kind of dumb. That's the truth. Some warnings are important and worth fixing. This is probably not. This is like popping bubble wrap. This is OCD. Okay, this is a good warning to fix. And I can do it in a nice way. I can just use the one that was already set. I don't have to get it each time, so that's helps performance. Probably not in any way that would ever be noticed, but it does help. Okay, and you're saying this never even gets used? Oh no, you're saying let's fix the CRH thing. Okay. Then what are you complaining about? Never assigned. Oh, well, that's even a different issue. Okay, well, I'll use this to see how it actually gets used. So here I'm seeing, that warning is just because I have to rename these. After I rename them, there might be a different warning. Pop in the bubble wrap. Pointless exercise, other than just to make me feel like everything has integrity stylistically. People often justify it. They say the code will be easier to understand and maintain. Yeah, that's what you tell yourself. That's what you tell yourself. What is the deal with this? I've almost got all the warnings to go away, so I just... it doesn't matter, though. What is this? Is it this one? That's the performance one. I think this is what it's complaining about. But it has no complaint listed here, so I'm just going to ignore it. Okay, what's this other one? Oh, there's a to-do here. And I think I decided it's not worth refactoring, so pop that back out. Let's see, and what are you saying with this guy? Yeah, sure. Good idea. Good idea. I listen to my friendly robot assistant. I listen to him. Okay. So let's see if I've now got an indicator of where I will be reborn. Nope, I did not. So I'm dead. Why did it not show anything? That's where I would have liked to see the indicator off on the west side there. Okay, let's try this. Nope. Okay. Debug. Let me say to do. Oh, let me just make sure. No regressions. At least no obvious ones. Okay. Let's see if it ever goes here. Okay. Okay, good. Good. Should get there. Let's see if it gets here. Play. All right. Okay, that's good. We're going to show it, huh? Reuse analysis. What do we got? Player did die. They died here. 10, 11, 3. Show square true. Push direction none. Square CRH 10. I don't know if that CRH is in the right place. I'll check after a bit. Push direction should be none. Square CRH, then player CRH, that's the center. 10, 11, 3. 10, 11, 3, okay. Set scale, that all looks good to me. No exception, no. Okay. Then maybe it's not updating the scale. Cool. Let's take a look. Completion, I don't know. It just became visible, so it's probably near 0. Oh, it's like at 33%. Okay. Yeah, this one is showing. I don't know. So if it might be I've got the wrong thing here. So I said I equals 0 to walk square count. And let's take a look. So this would be it might be an off by 1. Because it would be looking at 0, which should be the middle one. So I think there's no -1 on that. I think that's all it is. Okay, then up above, let me double check this. Yeah, we do -1 on the predictive boards, but not on the walk squares because it's already got like a little correction where 0 is reserved for the middle square and north direction 1 equals walk square 1. Okay, cool. Just an off by 1. Very simple. Is it going? Yep. Okay, it did show the walk square. It showed it in the wrong spot. I do like that 1 second fade in. I think that's pretty cool. The question is, why is the prediction showing that when the player pushes north, they'll be at the same square that they were at when they're on the death step? So I would have thought that the analysis would have came back that if you press north, you'll be over here. Onboard change. It might be the onboard change doesn't get called. Let me just check for that. Board update. Come on. You're not here? Oh, okay. Maybe that's in main object. That would make sense. Yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah. This is it right here. Update for plane level. You say, does the command need board update? And it's going to look at it. It's going to say the board didn't change. Therefore, we will not start a new prediction. Let's take a look at these commands, at this function again. Okay, well, command wait should have done something. Well, okay, let me first check that onboard change is getting called when I think it's getting called. So let's get ready to kill myself. Okay, so that will happen. I think I understand. In main object, I've got no, I don't understand yet. I do not understand yet. Okay, predictive boards. Are they enabled? They should be. They are. Okay. Oh. Z, good morning, sir. Alright, so hide the fling worries, hide all that. Then go into predictions. I'm going to call a background task on sync and predict. Yeah, okay, then it goes. Oh yeah, saving system works like a champ. I'm working on death transition animations. Trying to make them very clear and useful. These weird, polite messages written to myself. Talking to myself, I'm even gentle. I say, my suggestion is to da 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 da. Yeah, maybe I'm right. Maybe I should be very polite and respectful to myself when I talk to myself. Okay. Let's see. So the board updater is going to get called. It's going to pass in the command. Let's set a breakpoint here. Okay, the command will be north. I believe this should convert it to weight. Good. I have been in the past, but these days I'm not doing RTSs. I can tell you exactly why, what made me stop being interested in them. So I've seen like Dota and stuff like that. So there's too much emphasis on hero capabilities, in my opinion, in RTSs. I enjoy when it was more about just having general unit types. You know, you've got your long range characters, you've got, you know, your defenders, you've got your cavalry and all that kind of thing. And instead of like fiddling around like special powers around certain hero type characters, you would just instead concentrate on strategy that involved manipulating units in kind of general ways. Like you're more of a commander over the battlefield as opposed to a tweaky little hero manipulating guy. So I'm sure there are some RTSs out there now that are more in the style that I like. I just I haven't. The ones that are like getting all the popularity and are real famous and everything, I'm like, fuck that. It's not my thing. But I liked the earlier Warcraft games. I liked StarCraft. Not like at the competitive limits of it. I like old stuff like Age of Empires but yeah. Anyways, apparently you're into RTSs. Okay, I'm out of touch on the whole thing. I'm definitely out of touch. And I'm really into single player experiences on RTSs too. And I don't always like it to be challenging. Like for me, a satisfying RTS game is, I'm just, you know, it's almost like home maintenance or something. You know, set up your defenses and you know, if you do it well enough, you're pretty much guaranteed complete dominance over the map. And you know, it's yeah, I like that more building, setting things up the right way, that kind of thing. Okay, let's see. If the command type is weight, this should all be fine. This is good. I'm glad I did this correctly. Command recorder set to null. Good. Player is, they should be dead. Yeah, good. You unstun. Okay, then you maybe rebirth the player or get them born again. Let's see if it does that. Okay, is it waiting for birth? No, it's not waiting for birth. Yeah, I know I'm an old shit, and a lot of the games I liked are ancient history, for sure. And I'm sure also that if I made a proper look through of all the games that are available, I would find new games in the RTS genre that I love. It's just like if I say, okay, what does everybody really like to play, and I go play it, usually I don't like it that much. Whereas if I did like a broader search and hunted through different indie games and got off the beaten path a little bit, I'm sure I would find some RTS games that were great for me. One other thing that kind of dissuades me from looking. Fucking freemium games with the other DLC and like there's so many games that they're free. Go ahead, start playing them, and then they're fun for a little bit, and then they start sucking because the whole point was that you'd be buying all these power ups and things, and um, so particularly collectible card games, bad that way. And it's a favorite genre of mine. I mean, you can see why. It's just really made for freemium. Yeah, pay to win sucks. But here and there you find some games that resist that in the CCG genre. There's like it's called Attack the Spire. Yeah, League of Legends I've heard good things about, but like you said, that particular manage a small party, worry about the individual stats and abilities of one hero type character. That's not really my thing. Yeah, I like real time strategy, but it's just got to be more like more of a sort of a godlike interface to it. Or general interface to it, like you're the general over the battlefield. Well, MMOs I think I would get into, but I just don't trust myself. I think I'd be a little bit obsessed with them. So I stayed away from like all the big ones. The games that I like are usually puzzle or adventure games, and like I actually write a whole bunch of reviews on this board for games that I love. So I go to this. I'm going here not to show you like all the reviews I wrote, but just to remind myself of which games I actually like, so I don't have to think that hard. Let's see. Baba Is You was cool. A lot of puzzle games, a lot of puzzle and adventure games. This one here is just sort of like it's very unimpressive for anyone to look at. Like it doesn't seem like much, but there's all these very simple abstract games that you play on it. It's a collection of them. There's like 40 or something like that. Old game Chips Challenge. That's fun. This one, Manifold Garden, came out last year. Man, do I like it. Man, do I love it. I wrote like 2 little mini reviews here. Manifold Garden is my favorite game of 2020. No question. So, I mean, it's this kind of stuff. Very trippy. Like, so say you're in this game and you're falling. You keep falling and you just loop around from the bottom to the top. This stuff out in the distance is actually a repeat of what you're looking at here. So if you say, I'm going to go over there, you're just coming back to here. So it's completely looping in the 3 dimensions. What else did I like? Some of my reviews just fell off the bottom. Abduction, awesome game. Yeah, Abduction. So this is from the people that made the original Myst games. If you go look at this, it's a big story, beautiful 3D graphics. It works in virtual reality, although I've never tried it on VR. And you end up going to this town that is, it's in a kind of like a snow globe, you know. Some aliens took this whole town and transported it from one place in reality and put it in the middle of their own world. And you walk around, you solve puzzles, you make machines work again, you talk to characters, not too much talking to characters though. And you know, there's all these puzzles with teleporting between worlds and stuff. It's really well done. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The one I'm playing right now is Portal. Yeah, Portal. Man, I love Portal. Portal 2 in particular. Because Portal 2, they got everything 100% right on. Portal 1, it was a solid game, but it didn't have all the story stuff. They did all the story stuff perfect in it. All the voiceover, perfect. Everything about it's like the perfect game. The level difficulty as you progress is perfect. The multiplayer campaign, I did it a little bit. It's kind of a pain for me to find somebody that wants to play through it with me. My son-in-law played through a little bit, and I think like we collectively lost interest in it. There's a it's not really Portal 3. It's a Mel Stories, something like that. Portal Stories Mel. That is like Portal 3 apparently. I want to play that at some point. This one I happened to have open. Crypt of the Necrodancer. Very cool. Uses a stepping mechanic like my game, and there aren't too many steppers out there. So, yeah. It's like everybody wants a Portal 3, and Valve, they just don't care. They do not care. So, yeah, it would be great if they made a Portal 3. I don't think they will. I mean, I'd say there's like a 25% chance they ever will. They will make some spin-off type games like that Portal Bridge Constructor. I think it's become for them a symbol of coolness to not provide the thing that everybody is asking for. You know, they want to say instead, oh, we're moving on to new things that are great, and that's old stuff. We're past that. We're going to do other things that you'll also like, and you should pay attention to those. And I respect that when an individual says that. When an individual says that, and they say, you know, I made a whole bunch of games like that. I want to make a different type of game. No problem. But when a company says that, and all their fans are asking for it, and they can't find $10 million to put together a game it'd be more than 10 million. It would probably be like the scale that they want to achieve things at would probably be 50 to 100 million. Maybe they're afraid of a sequel not being as big of a hit, and sort of tarnishing what they do. The Valve name and all that. I don't know. It seems kind of stupid. It seems like they're trying to be cool or something like that. And yeah. Maybe. Yeah. But also there's something kind of like, okay, they make a new Portal game. You won't have that feeling like this is something great and fantastic that wasn't here before, like you did when you played the first two games. So sometimes you're really searching not for a sequel to something that you liked previously, but you're seeking for somebody to accomplish the same kind of feeling you had when you played that game. It's like I went to Burning Man 3 times. The third time I went, and I realized I want to have that feeling of something really new, like a different kind of experience, but I'm not going to get it by coming back to Burning Man. I have to go do something else to get that feeling again. All right, and get back into this debugging. Okay, so it's gonna get one location. It's gonna dequeue the birth queue. This all seems like it's fine. Don't know why the analysis is going to be wrong. So where this, there was an onboard change. This is going to be fine. Question is, when I come back to the player guide, yeah, it does sound cool though. Like 20 minutes traveling on a boat. That's a kind of a neat idea for a game to have that lengthy travel time. I'm assuming there was stuff on the boat to keep you interested while that 20 minutes was happening. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of games like that sort of had that effect on me, and I can't just go back to those games or a sequel of the game to feel the same way. Oh, okay. That's cool. There's also, in the games like that, there's your willingness to pretend. And it's easier to pretend when it's all new. So, let me see. Omicron. Here's a game where I did a lot of pretending when I was playing it. So, for example, you're walking around on a street and there's somebody in front of you, and they seem to have like a whole day ahead of them. Like it's an NPC It's not a real person, right? And they just move about the city and they walk around a block, and I might like pick one of those NPCs and kind of follow them around and like talk to them a little bit, and then they get annoyed at me, and I was pretending along with it that, you know, I'm in this city with them, right? But then, like, if you have played the game enough times, then you, or if you're just not as, the novelty of the presentation isn't there anymore, you'll just see, okay, this guy's on a path. It goes around the block. His dialogue is just a simple dialogue tree with maybe 3 different responses that come at you for certain actions, like bumping into him. So you're less willing to pretend after the novelty's worn off. There was a game called Colossal Caves. Okay, and it's an ancient game. Let's see. I don't want images for this. Anyways, it's just a text adventure game, and it would say things like, you're in a cave, and there's certain geology here. There's a you know, like some stalactites coming down from the ceiling, and some shiny crystals in one area, and there's a little dwarf here, and the dwarf is angry at you for some reason, and he's brandishing a knife. And your brain is adding in all this extra stuff and thinking, like, you know, maybe the dwarf has got some motivations for why he's angry, and, you know, your brain's supplying a lot of that stuff. And with those text adventure games, it was hugely about the player who was playing it supplying a lot of the game itself. So the game is doing some of it, but your brain's doing the rest. And then, like, it just, if you stop and think about it, the pretending goes away, and it's not as magical. I was stuck on that game, and I was like a teenager, and there was one dude that had the source code to it, and I called him. I said, how do I get past this problem? And he's like reading through the source code. He goes, oh yeah, you just grab like the egg and you open it up with the key or something like that. And and that kind of like destroyed the whole magic of the game, because it felt like there was this world waiting for me, and it was yeah. Anyways. Alright, so this is the egg piece. That's all fine. That's fine. So let's go to the player guide. Okay, there's onboard change. That started a prediction. It's going to come back. It's going to analyze the prediction. I say it well anyways. Let's hit play. Yeah, VR is like, I've had some exciting experiences just with like a Oculus Go. Yeah. And that's like nothing compared to what's out there now and what will come next. No, you can do that as much as you want. At some point, I might just like, I'm gonna look into this, and I'm the one that's allowing myself to be distracted, and it's all right because it's fun too. Okay, so this guy, is it a new sync and predict? Okay, here's the analyze prediction. So if I look at the reuse analysis, does it have the last one? Or does it have a new one? Twelve, 11, 3. Okay, let's analyze the prediction. This is for okay, let's take a look at all these. So north, I'm expecting the player's not dead. I'm expecting the player has okay, good. Here's the birth egg that the player's associated with. I still see, okay, died CRH is off to the east. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. See, call at 4, height at 3, row maybe 8, 7. Okay, that's perfect. That's healthy. So let's take a look at analyze. Okay, player piece. You're over at 4, right? Yep. Okay. Did the player die? Player did die. They're not dead now. There should be no push direction. Good. Player is at 4, 7. That's good. This might be it. So it's overriding perhaps. Okay, this makes sense. This is the problem. So this analysis is going to show where the player died at. And it's not going to put it at the player piece set. Okay, no problem. No problem at all. Okay, so I want to just use the player CRH here, or not the player CRH, do I have a different thing I can use inside of here? No, because it's setting this to the death. Okay, but I can do a different kind of analysis, or just skip the analysis and grab the player's location from the prediction directly. Okay, I'm gonna go get rid of some coffee. I'll be right back. So I know this will fail. I can fix it. Don't need the analysis. Let's just do You know, it might be exactly the same thing as just player CRH. Let me just try that first before I... I don't think that's right. Okay, so let's do CRH birth, CRH equals PB board, or I can do, yeah, no, this is right. Get player piece, get CRH, because it's not the current player location, it's where they will be if they take one step. So then we go bam, like so. And I don't need this. We can say direction none. Okay. I think this will do it. Sometimes Unity just takes a long time. All right. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, don't need that breakpoint. Let's just play through. Okay. Nice. That's what I wanted. Yeah, it cleared all the stuff nicely. Okay, cool. That's good. That's what I want. Maybe there's one thing left. I think it's hidden on the west side. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so what I'm picturing is that death marker floating up from that square after you die. You go, bam. The death marker kind of comes out like that. Which is kind of like a... I wonder if I could just do it with a simple particle effect. I mean, it's only one particle. Is that going to be faster than... All right, let's see. First, I'll try the particle effect on it, and then and all the irritating stuff I have to do with particles to get it to do what I want. Nah. Instead, let's do an object that I can just kind of move where it needs to go. Do I want to put it in main or booter? I think main's fine. It could also be wherever the player is. I could reuse these too. Let's just turn that on, see what it looks like. Dang it. There it is. All right, let's just make a copy. I'll call it, let's see, center depth. Let's call it center depth because then if I want to make some changes in its appearance that are specific to that centered thing, then I can do it. It won't be that hard. Okay. Cool. So I did tinting on it, right? Yeah. Okay. That's how it worked. Cool. All right. The bad thing is I will have to update all of the player game objects in 56 scenes. But yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I already got to do a level pass anyways. Let's just add this to all my stuff I have to do in a pass. Okay, so let's go back to the player guide. And let's see, death markers. Maybe I just want to include it in there with the rest of these. Let me take a look at that. Death markers, how are you getting used? Okay. I'll just up these by 1. Here I gotta be careful. It's just I. It's not direction I. Okay, so if I said I equals 0 at the top, I'm going to skip past it, which is good actually for my purposes. That means it will not hide the depth marker. The depth marker will just kind of float up. Let me first write this to just kind of not regress. So I won't add any new functionality yet. I'm just going to add in like this change in the data structure and make sure that you didn't break anything. Hide the depth markers. That makes sense. Okay, so that might be good. That might work. So I'm just looking for non-regression on my changes. Make sure I didn't break anything before I continue to add new stuff. Looking good. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so then I don't need the comment if I just do that. Let me say center depth marker, show. Add square, and it's going to be wherever the player is at. Okay, I think it's just these two repeated. Oh wait, no. I need the analysis. I need to have the dided square thing. Okay. Analyze prediction, and then we pass in PB. No, it's what is it? Yeah, just PB. This is going to be reuse. This is going to be player CRH. Don't need it yet, so let's grab it down here instead. Okay, equals. Then we want from the analysis we want to use died CRH. Okay, this is going to be player CRH. This will be died CRH. Okay. That's not bad. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, what did I screw up? Oh yeah. I renamed it. So it's, what is it? And depth marker. There we go. I might keep this simple too. If it looks okay to have the depth marker there after you die, then maybe I'll just keep it like that. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so it hides it and it pops it back up again. It's not bad. Occurs to me I don't really need to have that center depth square if I'm just gonna have the same appearance. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the right way to go. Okay. Let me simplify this a little bit. Let's get rid of center depth. It's kind of annoying that I have to revert some code, but that's okay. I'll fix it. But it will actually save me a lot of time to revert that and just reuse one of the existing squares. So just do what I did last time to find everything and fix it up. Okay, so depth marker count, bring it back down to 4. Get rid of center depth. So this we want to use direction I. Okay. Okay, good. Good. All right, let's see if I broke anything, but other than that, I think it's going to be done. And I will probably take a lunch break after that, and I actually have some changes I want to make off stream because they're in the last 2 levels. But let's check this out. See if you're still on. I'm going to close up shop here, and yeah, 60 seconds to 5 minutes, something like that. It works. Is there a death? Yeah, there is. It's just a little hard to see. Okay, let's see what happens for these guys. Yeah, it works exactly how I want it to work. Cool. All right. All right. I get to say that feature is done. And I'm going to go get myself some brunch and stop the stream right here. So, if anyone's lurking, I'll catch you later. Z, thanks for joining. And stop the stream right now.